Listening is arguably the single most important skill you can develop in English. Because, if you can understand spoken English clearly, well, speaking naturally is going to follow.
Absolutely.
But getting over that wall of sound is a massive hurdle. And before we jump into how to fix it, I just want to say, hey listeners, welcome to English Made Simple, where you learn real English for real-life conversations in a simple and natural way.
We are so glad you're joining us today. You know that wall of sound you mentioned? It is the #1 frustration I hear from language learners.
Oh, I bet.
People will tell me they understand subtitles perfectly, they know all the grammar rules, but the moment a native speaker talks at real-life speed, the brain just hits a wall.
It's like everything goes blank.
Right. And there is an actual neurological reason for this. In spoken English, native speakers, they do not put spaces between their words.
Yeah, it just flows together.
Exactly. It is a continuous stream of sound. So if your brain is trying to find the boundaries between words while also, trying to translate the meaning into your native language, the cognitive load is simply too high.
It's too much work for the brain.
Right. You get overwhelmed and your brain basically shuts down the processing center.
Wow. So the goal isn't just to listen more, right? It is to, change how the brain actually processes that continuous stream of sound.
That is exactly it.
And that is our mission today. We are going to walk you through a foolproof 5-step method. This is designed to dramatically improve your listening skills, train your ears, and most importantly, do it without making you feel completely stressed out.
Yes, no stress allowed here. We are going to break down that overwhelming wall of sound into tiny, manageable pieces. And it starts with step 1, which is the storage room strategy.
The storage room strategy. Okay, I like the sound of that.
So the core instruction here is simple, but it is so crucial. You must practice your listening by using videos or podcasts about a topic you are genuinely interested in.
Okay, wait.
It has to be something you already love and know about.
I want to push back on this for a second just to unpack it. Is this really just a trick to keep yourself entertained so you don't, fall asleep while studying?
Right.
Or is there an actual biological, cognitive reason why we should strictly practice with topics we already like?
Oh, it is not just about entertainment at all. I mean, it is entirely about cognitive load and how your memory works.
Okay, tell me more about that.
I want you to think of your brain like a massive filing cabinet or a storage room. If you watch a video about cooking and you already love cooking, the cooking drawer in your brain is already open.
Ah, right.
The folders are organized. The concepts of, chopping, boiling, and sautéing, they are already fully developed in your native language.
Oh, I see. So the foundation's already built for you.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn a brand new concept. You just have to drop the new English labels into those existing folders.
That makes total sense.
But if you pick a boring topic that you know nothing about, say quantum physics or 18th century economics, your brain is trying to build the cabinet, create the folders, understand the complex new concept, and decode the English language all at exactly the same time.
And then the brain crashes.
Exactly. It completely crashes.
You are isolating the challenge. You are removing the burden of learning a new topic so your brain has all its energy free just to listen to the language.
Yes, perfectly said.
Let me share a real-life example for our listeners of how powerful this filing cabinet effect is. There are 2 English students I know, Daisy, who is an architect, and Roberto, who works for a heavy machinery company down in Brazil.
Oh, wow. Highly technical, very specific professions.
Right. And in an English conversation, they were both asked to talk about the complex logistical challenges they face at work. Now, normally, a language learner would freeze up at a question like that.
For sure. It's too specific.
But both of them were able to speak smoothly, confidently, and comfortably about these difficult topics. And it's because their brains already had all those technical ideas perfectly organized in their native language.
They just pulled the files from their mental storage room.
Exactly. They just pulled the files and attached the English words to them.
And that is exactly why step 1 is so vital. If you start with your own interests, you are giving your brain a massive head start.
Right.
So you pick a video you love and you press play. But that brings up a very practical roadblock, which takes us to step 2.
Yes. The dreaded dictionary trap. We have all been there.
Oh, yes, we have.
You press play, you are enjoying the video, and then you hear a word you don't know. You panic.
Yeah.
You pause the video, you open up your dictionary app, you look it up, and you press play again.
And then what happens?
10 seconds later, another blurry word. You pause, you look it up. It completely shatters the natural rhythm of the language.
It really does. And worse, it destroys your working memory. By the time you look up the word and come back to the video, Your brain has forgotten the entire flow of the sentence.
It's exhausting.
It is the fastest way to get completely exhausted when learning English. This is why step 2 is the timestamp trick.
Okay, the timestamp trick, how does that work?
When you listen to your chosen program, you are only going to write down the timestamps of the parts you do not understand. You are forbidden from stopping to use a dictionary.
So you just keep the momentum going. Like, if you hit a wall of sound at 1 minute and 5 seconds, you just write down 1.05 on a piece of paper, and you keep the video playing.
Exactly. You are just making a quick note.
And actually, there is a perfect natural English phrase for making a quick note like this. The phrase is to jot down. J-O-T, jot down.
Yes, to jot down means to write something very quickly on a piece of paper. You aren't writing a beautifully structured paragraph. You are just scribbling numbers quickly so you don't forget them.
I actually want you to say this phrase out loud with us right now, wherever you're listening from. Say it out loud right now. Jot down. Seriously, say it. Let me hear it.
Yes, practicing out loud is so important.
Imagine you're on the phone, someone gives you an important address, and you say, let me just jot that down. It feels so much more natural once it actually leaves your own mouth. Let me just jot that down.
It really does build muscle memory. So for step 2, you are simply jotting down the timestamps where you feel confused, and you survive the entire video without opening a dictionary.
Okay, so I finished the video. I have a piece of paper with maybe 5 or 6 timestamps scribbled on it. If I just play the whole video again from the beginning, I'm going to run into the exact same wall of fast audio. What do I do with these timestamps to actually decode them?
That is where step 3 comes in. Step 3 is listen and guess.
Listen and guess.
So the video is over. Now you go back exclusively to those specific timestamps you jotted down. You listen to just that tiny 5 to 10 second portion of the audio, and you try to guess what is being said.
Why does doing it this way work better than just re-listening to the entire program?
It goes back to that cognitive load we talked about earlier. It prevents the panic. When you listen to a whole video, the brain is overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information.
Right, it's just a flood of sound.
But when you isolate a tiny 5-second clip, your brain knows the finish line is right there. It turns that scary wall of sound into a tiny, solvable puzzle.
Oh, I like that.
Your brain is fantastic at pattern recognition, provided you give it a small enough pattern to focus on.
I love that. Breaking it down takes the panic right out of the process. Let's actually simulate this for our listeners. Let's do a mini vocabulary workshop right now.
Sounds great.
Let's pretend you are doing this step at home. You go back to your first timestamp, you replay that tiny 5-second clip, and you manage to isolate a specific word. Let's say the word is prerequisite.
Ooh, that is a dense academic word. Prerequisite.
Right, so we have the prefix pre, P-R-E, which means before, and requisite, which sounds like requirement.
Exactly. So think about a university setting. Let's say you want to study advanced organic chemistry, but the university tells you no, first you must take basic chemistry 101.
Ah.
Chemistry 101 is a requirement that comes before the advanced class. Therefore, it is a prerequisite.
I want you to practice the rhythm of that big word right now. Repeat it out loud, syllable by syllable, prerequisite, prerequisite. Say it until it rolls off the tongue. Prerequisite.
It's all about getting comfortable with the sounds in your own mouth. Now let's look at an idiom you might catch at your second timestamp. Imagine you hear the phrase, on cloud 9.
On cloud 9. You know, if you just translate that literally in your head, it makes 0 sense. Why are you on a cloud and why is it number 9?
Exactly. Literal translation fails here completely. But on cloud 9 is a wonderful phrase. It simply means feeling perfectly happy, absolutely amazing, and euphoric.
Let's do a quick role play to show how this flows in a natural conversation. I will give you some great news. Hey, I heard you finally got that big promotion at work and a huge pay raise.
Yes. I am so happy I'm practically on cloud 9. I just want to celebrate.
Try saying that out loud, listeners. Imagine you just won a massive lottery. Say, I am on cloud 9. It is such a great phrase to express pure joy.
It really is.
Now, let's look at a phrase that means the exact opposite of feeling joyful. Our third timestamp phrase, pulling an all-nighter.
An all-nighter. Wow. Anyone who has ever been a university student knows this one painfully well.
Oh, yeah.
It means you had a deadline, so you worked or studied completely through the night. You never went to sleep.
So if your friend looks exhausted, you might say, did you pull an all-nighter? Try saying that out loud. I pulled an all-nighter. And, well, if you do pull an all-nighter, the next day, you're going to feel our final vocabulary word, which is zonked.
Zonked. Z-O-N-K-E-D. It is a very casual, descriptive way to say you are utterly exhausted. Your energy battery is at 0%.
The pronunciation here is fun. But it can be tricky with that strong Z sound. Z zonked. Say it with a big sigh of exhaustion. I am completely zonked.
That physical action of saying it out loud, it really helps lock it into your brain.
It really does. Now, real quick, before we move on to the next critical step in decoding spoken English, if you're enjoying this, subscribe to our channel for more English listening practice.
We absolutely love having you learn with us. So let's say you have completed step 3, you replayed your timestamps, and you correctly guessed the words zonked or on cloud 9.
Okay, but I have to challenge this step.
Oh, go ahead.
What if I do the micro-listening,
Hmm.
I isolate the sounds, and I guess the exact words perfectly? Well, not perfectly, but you know what I mean. But I still have absolutely no idea what they mean in the conversation. Like, I know the speaker said cloud 9, but I don't have a dictionary, so to me it's just a meaningless phrase about weather. What do I do?
This is exactly why we need step 4. Step 4 is become a context detective.
A context detective.
Right. When you guess the words at a timestamp but the meaning is a mystery, you have to look at the environment around the words. You look at what the speaker said right before the timestamp, what they said right after, and the overall theme of the conversation.
So instead of relying on a dictionary to just hand you the answer, you are using deductive reasoning.
Exactly.
Let's walk through a concrete example of how to do this. Imagine you are listening to a podcast interview, and at the 4-minute and 11-second mark, you hear the phrase, back in the day.
And you sit there and think, back in the day. Which day? Monday, Tuesday? What does that mean?
Exactly. So you put on your detective hat, you look at the context immediately prior. Let's say at the 3-minute and 30-second mark, the speakers were heavily discussing modern technology. They were talking about artificial intelligence, new smartphones, and virtual reality.
Okay, so the context before our mystery phrase is present-day technology. Now, look at the context immediately after. Right after they say back in the day, the speakers start reminiscing about their childhood. They talk about playing outside until the streetlights came on and a time before cell phones existed.
So let's connect those dots. The audio goes from present-day tech, hits our mystery phrase back in the day, and suddenly shifts to childhood memories and life before cell phones.
Which means the phrase is the bridge. Going from present technology to childhood memories means back in the day must be an idiom referring to old times or the past.
You solve the mystery. By looking at the surrounding environment, you guess the meaning naturally. And here is why this is so much better than a dictionary. When you figure out a word through context clues, your brain forms a much stronger neural pathway.
Oh, absolutely.
You didn't just memorize a flat definition, you built a web of associations.
Exactly. You are teaching your brain to tolerate ambiguity. You are training it to stay calm when it hears something unknown and knowing that the surrounding sentences will eventually provide the answer.
It builds so much independence.
It does. And once you have done that detective work for your timestamps, you are ready for the final step. Step 5, the confidence lap.
The confidence lap, I love the name of that, because the hard work is done, right? You watch the video, you jotted down the timestamps without stopping, you guessed the tricky words, and you acted as a context detective to figure out their meanings.
All the heavy lifting is finished.
Right. So now, step 5 is simple, but incredibly rewarding. You just listen to the entire program one more time all the way through without pausing.
This step feels like pure magic.
It really does.
When you listen this final time without pausing, you aren't trying to learn new information anymore. You are forcing your brain to practice pattern recognition in real time. Because you just decoded those difficult parts, your brain bypasses the translation phase entirely.
You just instantly understand the English. It triggers this massive dopamine hit of sudden comprehension. You will listen and think, wow, I actually hear the spaces between the words now. I actually understand this.
It is the ultimate confidence builder. It proves to you that you are entirely capable of understanding fast, natural English. You just needed a systematic way to process the audio instead of trying to swallow it all at once.
Exactly. Now, to put these skills to the test and practice following a natural narrative, it is story time.
Oh, I love story time.
I want to share a real-life, slightly embarrassing story about extreme listening skills.
A listening test hidden inside a story. Perfect.
But first, I need to equip our listeners with 2 quick phrases so the story makes sense. The first word is Spitfire.
Spitfire. If you break it down, it's a fire that spits heat.
Right.
When we call a person a Spitfire, we mean someone who is hot-tempered, they react quick, they are highly passionate, maybe a little loud, but usually deeply loving beneath it all. They just have a ton of fiery energy.
Think of someone you know who fits that description and say it out loud. She is a Spitfire. Now, the second phrase is to talk back.
Yeah.
This specifically means disrespectfully replying to an authority figure, usually a parent. If a parent says, "Go clean your room," and the teenager rolls their eyes and says, "Do it yourself," that teenager is talking back.
It is the ultimate form of teenage rebellion.
It is. All right, so you have the vocabulary context. Here's the story. When I was a teenager, I was genuinely a very good kid. I followed the rules, I got decent grades, and I never, ever talked back to my parents.
That's very impressive.
They raised me to be highly respectful. But my mom is an absolute spitfire. She is short, she is fiercely loving, but she has a legendary fiery temper.
That is always a dangerous combination.
It kept me in line, that's for sure. So one day we were standing in the kitchen, and my spitfire mom got incredibly upset with me over some misunderstanding.
Yeah.
She pointed at the door, commanded, "Go upstairs to your room right now."
Oh.
Now, even though I was an angsty teenager and I felt completely unfairly treated, I knew better than to talk back. I just looked down, said, "Yes, ma'am," and I walked out of the kitchen.
A very wise choice for your own survival.
Truly. So I walked out of the kitchen and I started walking up the stairs. And in this house, the kitchen is really far away from the bedrooms. It was a long walk. It took a good 30 to 40 seconds to get from where she was standing all the way up to my bedroom door on the second floor.
Okay, so you are very far away.
I am very far away. Yeah, I finally reached my bedroom door. My back is to the hallway, and I am just boiling with teenage frustration.
Yeah.
And very, very quietly, so quietly that you almost couldn't hear it, I sucked my teeth in frustration.
Oh no, a silent protest.
Just a tiny, quiet tisk noise. Suddenly, echoing from all the way downstairs, across the house from the kitchen, my mom yelled at the absolute top of her lungs, "You better not suck your teeth."
Oh my goodness. I can picture the pure terror you must have felt.
I completely froze. The level of fear was astronomical. I was standing there thinking, how in the physical world did she hear that? It was the quietest noise, and she was a mile away. Needless to say, I never sucked my teeth in that house ever again. The woman has literal super hearing.
Parents truly do have super hearing when it comes to their kids acting out. But you know what? That actually relates beautifully to what our listeners are trying to achieve today.
Oh, really? Connect the dots for me on that one.
Well, when a mother hears that tiny sound from across the house, it's because her brain is intensely tuned to the specific frequency of her child's behavior.
Right.
Her brain recognizes the pattern instantly. If you train your ears consistently with the 5 steps we discussed today, eventually you are going to develop English super hearing too.
Oh, that is such a great point.
You will be able to effortlessly catch those quiet sounds, those fast idioms, and all that connected speech, just like a native speaker.
I absolutely love that framing. English super hearing, it is an impossible genetic gift.
Yes.
It's just a skill built through pattern recognition and the right method.
Exactly. Let's do a rapid-fire recap to lock this method in for our listeners. Step 1. Use your interests. Find a topic your brain already understands to lower the cognitive load.
Step 2, jot down timestamps. Protect your working memory and do not stop to use a dictionary. Keep the momentum going.
Step 3. Listen and guess. Go back exclusively to the timestamps and focus on micro portions so you don't get overwhelmed.
Step 4, use context clues. Become a context detective. Look at the words immediately before and after the mystery phrase to build those neural pathways.
And step 5, the confidence lap. Do a final listen all the way through to solidify your learning and get that dopamine hit of comprehension.
You can absolutely master this. It takes a little patience, but if you trust the process, the wall of sound will break down. Now, before we sign off today, I have a quick call to action for you. I want you to do 4 specific things for us right now.
Get ready to jot these down.
First, I want you to repeat our new phrases out loud one last time to build that muscle memory. Say them with me right now. Jot down.
Nice and clear.
Zonked.
Great.
On cloud 9.
Excellent job.
Second, jump down into the comments and tell us where you are from. We absolutely love seeing students connecting from all over the world.
Third, while you are in the comments, tell us what listening problem you personally struggle with the most. Is it the sheer speed of native speakers? Is it confusing vocabulary? Let us know so we can tackle it in the future.
And fourth, share this deep dive with a friend or a study partner if you found it helpful. Spread the knowledge so we can all improve together.
And I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over today.
Ooh, what is it?
Well, we spend so much time stressing about vocabulary lists and grammar rules, but why do we put so much effort into listening practice? Because when you truly master listening, you aren't just mechanically decoding a foreign language. You are unlocking the profound ability to truly hear, understand, and connect with the fascinating stories of human beings from all over the world.
It is the ultimate tool for connection. Keep listening, keep practicing, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.